Tonight on CTV News at 5.
It can be tricky to track, especially with how fast people go and move around with cash.
Bogus bills. The RCMP warned fake money is on the move in the Maritimes.
If you can control the virus, you can control the cancer.
Making the switch, work is underway to advance screening for cervical cancer.
Best way is to just start, and the only way forward is through.
And the art of healing. A Nova Scotia artist uses her latest exhibit to honor her late brother.
Partly cloudy with scattered flurries tonight. Temperatures expected to take a bit of a tumble.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Penopalis. Thanks for joining us. First at 5 tonight, counterfeit concerns. The RCMP are warning Canadians to watch their money. Fake bills are circulating right around the country, including here in the Maritimes. CTV's Vanessa right now on how to spot a fake. Hi there, Vanessa.
Hi there, Maria, and there are many ways to do that. Given the recent circulation, police want people to get familiar with the differences between a real bill and a fake one.
RCMP say Canadians should be on the lookout as more counterfeit bills pop up nationwide, including here in the Maritimes. Nova Scotia RCMP have received at least 8 separate reports of high-quality counterfeit $50 bills in the last month alone.
Where we see an increase like that, especially in a short amount of time, we wanted to make sure that Nova Scotians were aware of that and retailers were aware of that so that they can take precautionary measures and check cash that might be coming into their business.
This Halifax McDonald's letting customers know they're not accepting any $100 bills because of it. And while cash transactions have gone down significantly since COVID, Halifax's Chamber of Commerce says businesses shouldn't let their guard down.
Cash is still used for a lot of smaller transactions. So yes, I mean, they need to be vigilant. They need to kind of keep an eye on the bills. I wouldn't recommend people turn away cash, but I think if you're careful, you're probably not going to have any problems.
RCMP say it's best to familiarize yourself with the security features of a genuine Canadian currency bill.
Making sure that the holographic stripe on one side of the bill is integrated, like you can't peel it off, it's not a sticker or anything like that. Making sure that the lines and the detailing on the bill are high quality. Feeling it, making sure it should feel like plastic, it shouldn't feel like paper.
Counterfeit currency is a growing concern. Over the last several weeks, phony $20, $50, and $100 bills have all been flagged in Moncton and St. John. Because of how easy it is to pass along cash, it's harder for police to crack down and track down the fake ones. They hope people will do the right thing and report it to avoid legal trouble.
Especially where these counterfeits can be quite high quality, people might be passing them without even realizing, like they get them in their change and then they move it on. So, you know, we don't immediately go with that somebody that is in possession of a counterfeit bill is committing an offense. It's the knowingly possessing and passing on a counterfeit bill that gets you into trouble.
And Maria, this issue affects pretty much everyone, but for retailers, the loss can be greater. It's different from credit card fraud that can be easily traced and recouped. If a business takes a fake bill in exchange for a product, well, they're out the product, the cash, and if they provided that person change, they're out real currency too. Maria.
Ouch. That is a lot to think about. Thank you, Vanessa. Really good information tonight. CTV's Vanessa Wright for us in the news center. All right, heading over to the anchor desk now where Todd Battis is standing by with the headlines. Hi, Todd.
Hi there, Maria. 3 young Nova Scotia hockey players are facing serious sex-related charges after an alleged hazing incident. Police say the players are part of a Truro area hockey team, and they say there could be more victims who have yet to come forward. We will have the details at the top of the newscast tonight. A fire at the historic armory closed streets and caused a large power outage in central Halifax early this morning. The Department of National Defence began a 2-phase project to renovate and rebuild the armories back in 2017. Now, defence officials tell us today the fire had nothing to do with those renovations, and we'll get an update from officials at 6. The New Brunswick Forest Commission says it's difficult to say exactly what help the ongoing uncertainty facing the lumber industry, what help they'll need. The Commission's executive director was in front of a large legislative committee today answering questions on how the industry is doing with those Trump tariffs. CTV's Laura Brown will break it down at 6. All right, let's bring in Kaylin Mitchell. First look at the forecast. You got some current temperatures?
That's right. So if anybody's heading out this evening, general conditions around the Maritimes are for partly cloudy skies, some scattered flurries, and temperatures that are below the freezing mark. We've got temperatures right now for Nova Scotia between -1 and -4, down to around -5 in Charlottetown and Summerside, Prince Edward Island, and across New Brunswick, mostly between -4 and -7, though colder in the northwest with Edmundston at around -9. Temperatures for tonight are going to be falling quite quickly across the Maritimes, and it is going to be colder than many of the nights that we've had so far this week. And that has to do with the wind direction. The wind's becoming northwest for tonight. That colder air is going to be coming in off the continent. Currently, those winds are being sustained in most cases between around 10 and 20 kilometers per hour, generally, with a few gusts getting up between 30 and 40. We've got a gust at 30 right now at Bathurst and Lunenburg, and one at 28 kilometers per hour at a weather station near Truro. Taking a look at things on radar and satellite, I mentioned some scattered flurries. Those are showing up here through the brighter whites and blues. We've got an area of flurries that's drifting north to south across parts of New Brunswick. Very, very light snow with those. A band of flurries is set up basically right along the border of Cumberland and Colchester County, so right in the north of Nova Scotia. That's showing that the snowfall rates might be a little bit higher right along that band, so if anybody's driving through that area, just be careful. Your visibility could come down as you get into it. And some scattered flurries across eastern areas of Nova Scotia, maybe a few in and around the Halifax area. I'll have more in the forecast when I'm back a little bit later on. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. Right now, though, to kick off African Heritage Month, Acoma Holdings and Edu House came together for a special project. CTV's Jim Quammen shows us the new partnership aims to teach and employ Black Nova Scotians in hydroponic farming.
The past 4 years has been challenging for Acoma as we continue to bring on new students who learn the operations.
We are launching a partnership between Acoma Holdings and Edu House Inc. for a hydroponic container farm located on the historic Acoma lands in Westbow, Dartmouth. We are growing hydroponic basil inside of a shipping container and teaching the community about growing herbs hydroponically and sustainable farming.
They already have the container and everything to start with basil and know how it works, so that we'll be able to start from there and expand to what other culturally relevant food.
Acoma Holding is a historic land, and in an effort to continue the history of gardening and farming, this hydroponic farm was purchased a couple of years ago, and the current partnership with Edu House, it's to continue growing crops on this historic land.
So the participants in this initiative would be youth within the Preston community in Cherrybrook and in Dartmouth more broadly. So we are growing a premium Genovese basil, which is a restaurant quality, highly aromatic leaf suitable for pesto and restaurant applications. Our ideal clients would be restaurants that use both full leaf basil in their presentations, restaurants that make pesto, small batch pesto makers, as well as folks who use basil microgreens. We also plan to donate some of our basil to food distribution centers.
Awesome initiative, and I can only imagine how amazing it smells in there. Thank you so much for letting us come along last night. All right, we're going to take a break here on CTV News at 5. Still ahead, find out how to win a $2,500 gift card to Charm Diamond Centers. We also have these stories.
It is what it is. We meet an artist who's using the memory of her brother to explore her grief. That's coming up tonight on CTV News at 5.
I'm Stephanie Seacoast. Coming up on CTV News at 5, cancer prevention. The goal to eliminate cervical cancer in Canada, and why some provinces are changing how they test. That story is still ahead on CTV News at 5.
Bobby's Hospice provides valuable palliative and grief support to hundreds of people every year. You can help Hospice Greater St. John by enjoying the annual Valentine's Day Gala, Saturday, February 14th. For details, call 506-632-5593.
Welcome back. Time is running out to enter this amazing contest. CTV and Charm Diamond Centers want to help you charm your Valentine. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, you could win a $2,500 gift card to Charm Diamond Centers to help express your love for that special someone. To enter, go to ctvatlantic.ca or click on the QR code on your screen right now. We will announce the winner on Friday February 13th. Lucky Friday the 13th. All right, so work is underway to eliminate cervical cancer in Canada. As CTV's Stephanie Seacos reports, it comes as some provinces have begun at-home HPV testing, something Nova Scotia hopes to do in the near future.
Getting a Pap test is certainly not fun, but it can be life-saving for women.
Almost all cervical cancer is caused by chronic infection with the HPV virus. And what that means is that if you can control the virus, you can control the cancer.
In Nova Scotia, the hope is to move toward HPV testing rather than Pap tests.
So I'd be optimistic. I mean, if someone told me today that it was all a go ahead and it was going to be funded and everything go, it should be from 12 to 18 months as far as I'm concerned.
Several other provinces have already made the switch. Some even offer at-home tests.
Prince Edward Island was the first province in the country to start screening for the HPV virus. That can pick up the infection earlier than the Pap and actually prevent more cancers. But a big advantage of it is that it's a simpler test.
Across Canada, there are more than 1,600 cases of cervical cancer each year and 430 deaths. A recent report revealed cervical cancer rates have plateaued, but there's no clear answer as to why.
So at least since the 80s, cervical cancer has been decreasing very steadily. And in the latter part of the last decade seemed to plateau and maybe even increase.
It's a concern as there is a goal to eliminate the disease by 2040. The action plan includes improving HPV vaccination rates, implementing HPV primary screening, and improving follow-up screening results.
That dramatically reduces their risk of getting and dying from cervical cancer. The secret to it is regular testing.
While there's no concrete timeline yet as to when Nova Scotia could make the move to HPV testing, the province says it is exploring options about how to advance screening. Stephanie Seacos, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Kaylin Mitchell joins us now with a look at how things are shaping up out there.
Yes.
Getting a little chillier out there today, perhaps?
A little bit. Now, I am told by our producer, Leo Carter, that we have a spectacular weather shot to share with you before we hit our next commercial break. And here it is. Yeah, that's pretty spectacular.
Quite the shot. We can thank Daryl Reeves in Cape Breton for grabbing us this shot with his drone. He never ceases to amaze. Look at the heavens. My goodness.
Yeah, Big Brador here in Cape Breton. We've got that fresh coating of snow down. Of course, we know that Cape Breton was one of the parts of Nova Scotia that picked up a fair amount at the start of this week. I'll have more in the forecast after the break.
More than 100 people braved the chilly temperatures to be one of the first in line for Halifax's newest sugar fix. Craig's Cookies opened its doors on Barrington Street in downtown Halifax this morning. The shop boasts over 100 different types of cookies, which are made fresh every day.
I think they should expect just a warm, welcoming, awesome environment. And the cookies are delicious. There's so many different choices, so I think people are gonna love it.
Like, it looks delicious. I've been going past here for months. I want a cookie, man.
I want a cookie too. The cookie franchise originated in St. John's, Newfoundland, and has grown to over 22 establishments right across the country. The Halifax shop is the first in the Maritimes, Kaylin, and you can see a lot of people bundled up to stand outside. Oh, they do look good. My goodness. They stood outside in the elements, and I think a lot of people planning to do the same tomorrow. How should they dress, Kaylin?
For tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what time of the day they're going, but generally speaking, probably want to dress for some colder temperatures.
Okay.
Especially if you're going to try and maybe beat the lineup and get out there early, because it does get quite cold tonight, and that, of course, means a cold start to the day for Friday. Let's take a look at our sunrise and sunset times. And for that, we're going to go to the Chesapeake River, or at least a view of the Chesapeake River there. We could see snow on the banks. Pretty quiet weather day. We had some scattered flurries drifting through, some cloud cover, but it did break here and there, so that we did get to see some blue sky and some peaks of sunshine. As we take a look at our weather systems map for this evening, barometric pressure fell a little bit from yesterday into today as we had that low pressure system that made its way past the southwest of Nova Scotia. But at this point in time, it's neither very much towards the higher side or the lower side. And that's because we're in between a number of weather systems right now. There's a little ridge of high pressure that's fading away out of southern Ontario, and in behind that, a low pressure system that's bringing a couple weather fronts into the Great Lakes region, with another front extending back in through the prairies and some very colder air on the northern side of that front. Taking a look at things on radar for the Maritimes for this evening, you can see we do have some returns showing up, and these are the scattered flurries that are still around. Now, most of the flurries, as we make our way through this evening, will be coming to an end for the province of New Brunswick, but there will remain a chance of flurries tonight, both Prince Edward Island and areas of Nova Scotia. For Nova Scotia, the chance of flurries in the overnight is going to be highest around northern eastern parts of the province, including Cape Breton. Taking a look at our timeline for cloud cover and precipitation then, making our way through the night, there's going to be some mostly clear conditions for New Brunswick during the overnight hours. Temperatures, though, going to be falling quite quickly tonight around the region, and a colder start to the day for tomorrow than many of the mornings this week. As far as Friday's weather conditions go, we're looking at mostly sunny conditions in New Brunswick. The mix of sun and cloud for both Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia, and a chance of some flurries for PEI and the north and east of Nova Scotia. Here's a look at the winds in the forecast for the end of this week. So for tonight, they're out of the northwest. That's bringing in that colder air off the continent. And tomorrow's winds change direction a little bit for the afternoon, becoming northeast for the Maritimes, mostly sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour, with a few gusts between 20 and 40. Now here's a look at those low temperatures for tonight. You can see that many communities in New Brunswick are expected to have lows that will fall into the range around -18 to -25. So certainly colder than many of the nights this week. That does include -21 at Fredericton, -25 at Edmundston, and -18 at St. John and Moncton. Down to -16 for Charlottetown tonight, and same thing goes for Summerside. And for Nova Scotia, most low temperatures falling into a range of -10 to -16. -9 for Sydney, and maybe colder up around Amherst, could be closer to around -18 there. Here's a look at the high temperatures in the forecast for Friday, and for the province of New Brunswick, between -6 and -10, around -6 for Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island, with a low chance of a flurry throughout the day. Chance of some flurries in eastern areas of Nova Scotia. For that province, the high temperatures between -3 and -6. How about the start of the weekend? Well, some cloud cover does increase Friday night into Saturday, and there will be a chance of some isolated flurries in the Maritimes for the start of the weekend. And the afternoon high temperatures will be between -2 and -5 for New Brunswick, -2 for Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island, and mostly between -1 and -3 for Nova Scotia. All right, let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from 6-year-old Namkale Naoni from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Namkale has sent us a drawing of being out ice skating with a friend, Emily. It's a very nice drawing. We've had some good ice skating conditions lately. And weather watchers can come in to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. Time for a break, but before we go to break, it's time for our African Heritage Month Music Spotlight featuring Halifax artist Zamani. Coming from a musical family, Zamani does it all. Writes, produces, engineers, and performs her own music. Her work is rooted in community and purpose, and she uses her voice to uplift, inspire, and create space for Black women. Here's a taste of her song, Sunflower Seeds, as we head to break.
Lay down your sunflower seeds and watch it grow to the flower you wanna be. Breaking through the hardened ground and right.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter.
You're never going to want to leave beaches, Turks and Caicos when you win Password to Paradise.
And you could win that trip tomorrow with us just after 7 o'clock.
Welcome back. A NASCAD student used her art to deal with her personal grief. As CTV's Brianne Foley shows us, she tapped into new mediums to tell her late brother's story.
It's like letters to my brother.
Vanessa Eufola received the best news and the worst news
hours apart.
On the day that I got into the Master of Fine Arts program at NASCAD University, my brother died.
From the moment she began her Master's of Fine Arts, her brother Tristan became the focal point of her thesis.
The exhibition for the last 2 years has been me trying to understand how to move forward with life, how to be a sister even after your brother is dead, how to keep going forward even though some days you feel really stuck in your grief. Everyone went wild because they were sure it was you.
She says that art became her pathway through the grief, writing letters and showing her brother to the world.
I just started documenting things, just picked up my cell phone camera and started taking pictures. And that became part of a series of images of my parents, a slideshow of them day after day visiting my brother's grave.
Tapping into Tristan's passions was key to her healing.
I've learned so much about working with different kinds of techniques, and it's given me ideas about how to do things differently. Made pigments from, soils of places that he was in Utah that I know where he was. My brother was a landscaper and a hardscaper, so he worked with welding, so I welded the cactus.
The healing process has been long, and expressing her brother through her art helps guide her forward.
I miss my brother every day, and I'm not going to say that it hasn't been hard to look at his face while I've been making, prints about him. But at the same time, I think that kind of confrontation has been so helpful for meditating on our relationship.
Vanessa will be holding an artist talk explaining everything to do with this exhibit Friday at noon. As for It Is What It Is, it's ongoing until February 14th here at the Anna at NASCAD University. Brianne Foley, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Brianne, and thank you, Vanessa. That is truly an emotional exhibit, and I can't imagine your pain, but what a lovely way to remember your brother, indeed. Kaylin Mitchell joins us now as we near the end of the program. A lot of people wondering how things are shaping up out there.
Yeah, well, we talked about it in the forecast here on 5, but we do have some colder temperatures coming in tonight. It's going to be a little bit colder, certainly during the nights and the mornings through the weekend into the start of next week. Some flurries in the weekend forecast, but so far, Maria, no sign of another significant snow Sunday into Monday.
Loud.
So it looks like we've broken that pattern. All more on the extended forecast coming up at 6.
We like the sounds of that. Thanks, Kaylin. We'll see you at 6. I'll see you tomorrow. The national news is next.